Okay, this is gonna be a different type of video. This is okay, whatever. I am gonna be doing because I am a big president nerd. I am gonna be doing a president tier list, and if I do it in presentation mode, will it just like thank you. I'm safe from the ads now. Okay, because I already explained this, but I am going to be doing a tier list of each and every single one, each president. And my microphone's unmuted. Okay, so let's start off with Jorge Washington. George Washington, automatic S tier. He started our great country we call the United States of America. He aside from that, I don't think he really did much other than that, did he? What did Jorge Washington do as presidente? Copyright law. Okay. He signed the Thanksgiving Proclamation. Yeah, so automatically S tier. Even if he didn't do that, he'd still be S tier, for for the for the creation of our country. So W. Also, fun fact: did you know he grew marijuana on his estate? Fun fact. John Adams. The Aliens and Sedition Acts were bad. Honestly, the the Alien and Seditions Act was horrible. Many people agree that it was no. Yeah, Aliens and Seditions Act. The been arming an undeclared world across the war with France. He became the first president to be. Yeah, I don't. I think Aliens and Sedition Acts. That was raise residency requirements. Yeah, the poor aliens. Yeah, what good things did he do? Things. I don't know much about the ye olden presidents. I don't care that my things did John Adams do. Because I'm not that big with the founding fathers. By the end of his tenure, he's a yeah, honestly, just for the Alien Sedition Acts, because I don't think he did much else notable. Adams goes C tier. C tier. Definitely. Yeah. On to TJ. Thomas Jefferson. Getting the Louisiana Purchase was pretty good. Though a bit controversial. Good. What? Yeah, the Declaration of Independence, too. And honestly, TJ, top of A tier. He gets top of A tier. James Madison. The War of 1812 really wasn't a good look for you. I'm gonna be honest. War of 1812, you did good. Don't get me wrong, but that wasn't good. James Madison. Wait, what good things did James Madison do as president? Uh, Contribution to the Federalist Papers. Yeah, and didn't he also like? Wait, is that Madison or Monroe that helped write the Bill of Rights? I think that was Monroe. Madison, Second Bank of the United States, tariff of 1816. Seceded. Oh no. He helped write the. Yeah, it was him. So honestly, aside from the War of 1812, you did pretty good. You get beat here. Monroe, I think he was uncontested during the election of 1820. Yeah, it was just no one went up against him. Monroe, I don't know many things Monroe did. It's more towards like presidents during the 1800s, during later on the 1800s. I know more about helping the negotiation of 1803. Oh, the Monroe Doctrine. Yeah, he signed the Monroe Doctrine. I forgot about that. The Missouri Compromise, the annexation of Florida for the United States. Honestly, the Monroe Doctrine gets you up to, you get above Madison. J.Q. Adams. Aside from the fact that your election was basically rigged, like forget the 2020 election, yours was like actually rigged because you got people on your side because Jackson here didn't get enough electoral votes. But you, he did. What did J.Q. Adams do? What did J.Q.A. do? Good thing J.Q.A. did. Secretaries of State, arranging England, got the Oregon Territory. I think this is in formulating. Okay, the Treaty of Ghent, the acquisition of Florida. Just for acquiring Florida, F tier. No, I'm kidding. You don't get F tier, but Florida's pretty crazy now. I'll put you in B tier until I find out more things that you did. Jackson, D. No, the first Democrat president, D tier. The the Indian Removal Act? No, that is no. I mean, the only good thing he did was pay off all of the national debt. He's probably the first. He's the first and only president to pay off the national debt. He's probably the first and last president to pay off a national debt. Be honest, but that doesn't. Um, that doesn't compared to the Indian Removal Act doesn't really do much. Your assassination attempt story, though, is pretty cool. I'll give you that. Martin Van Buren. He goes higher than Jackson. Van Buren, he was blamed for the, what was it called? The Panic of 1837. But that wasn't his fault. It was all Andrew Jackson's fault for not wanting to establish a main bank, a national bank. He gets blamed for that, and that's I don't think he did much good though. Did he? Good things. Oh, not. Also tried with Andrew Jackson, but I don't think he did much. Democracy, gain the land. See, but that's not good enough. Vetoed a bill. Yeah, yeah. I served at Congress at a young age. Yeah, no, he didn't. Martin Van Buren. Martin Van Buren did. Average. The Panic of 1837. Yeah, yeah, he really didn't do much good. William Henry Harrison, he's not getting ranked. He died 1 month into his tenure as president. He doesn't get ranked. John Tyler, yes, John Tyler. John Tyler, I don't think he did many good things because he got disowned by his own political party, the Whigs. Uh, yeah, for states' rights, including oh oh, that's probably the only good thing he did. Tyler goes right below Jackson, advocating for the states' rights of slavery. Not a good look, but I would give him F tier, but he set the precedent of what the vice president is going to do in case the main president dies. So that's like the only reason you're not getting F tier. As a Mexican, James Polk, F tier. Next, Polk. You unjust war with Mexico. And as a Mexican, I'd punch you, but then this video wouldn't get made. James Polk. Polk. Yeah. That's see, and I just don't think. Yeah, there's like hold on, I'll try to find something, you guys. Hold on. Okay, coming from the History Channel, aside from that, he signed the Oregon Treaty and got another land acquisition, this time without going to war. And he reduced tariffs to stimulate trade, and all those things were established along with those. No, I don't want an update. So for that, you go just below Adams. Zachary Taylor, our second president, did not get he's the second president to not get a ranking. He died 16 months into office, which is like that's like a year and a quarter into office. So he is the second president to not get ranked. His successor, Fillmore, he was such a boring dude. Even the White House calls him an uninteresting dude. Hold on. No, not for families. Presidents. Fillmore. Hold on, now I gotta find it. In his rise from a log cabin to wealth and the White House, Millard Fillmore demonstrated that through methodical industry and some competence, an uninspiring man could make the American dream come true. But he admitted California as a free state. He granted territorial status to New Mexico, abolished slave trade in Washington, D.C. So honestly, all that earns Fillmore very bottom of C tier. Actually, top of D tier. Next president, Franklin Pierce. Pierce. I want to have Franklin Pierce. He, bleeding Kansas happened under him. 2 months before his office, he saw their 11-son-year-old get beheaded when their train was wrecked. No, it was on their way to their inauguration, actually. Bleeding Kansas. Yeah. So, yeah, they honestly, you're the best of the worst. And honestly, but don't worry, you're not gonna be alone in F tier because you have Buchanan with you in F tier. God, Buchanan, where do I begin? He he was personally against slavery, but did nothing about it. He's often considered among the worst, if not the worst president in American history. And he just had the same face and hair throughout his entire life, man. Hold on. Okay, so this is James Buchanan when he was young. This is back when he was in school. You can see him in the back with the same hair and same face. This is him during his presidency, and this is the last picture of him. Same hair, same face. He's just like never had any style. Anyways, he decided to end trouble by urging the administration to leave the territory as a slave state. Every significant bill, the when Republicans won a plurality in the House, I don't word, every significant bill they passed before the Southern votes in the Senate or a presidential veto. Hmm. He denied the legal right of states to secede, but the government could not prevent them. Inactivity until he left office. So that earns him an automatic F tier. Lincoln, I think we know where we're putting him. No, I'm just kidding. S tier. Although removing habeas corpus during war, it was a necessary move, and he also he remo- he also only freed the southern slaves, but that's because there was like mostly a majority of them down south than up north. But other than that, I think we all know why we're putting Lincoln here. His successor, though, F tier. I think I'm putting Johnson as the worst so far. He just he stood against everything Lincoln wanted. He was like incredibly racist. Like he also just Johnson just Andrew Johnson. Racism and antipathy towards African American civil rights. He just stood against everything he wanted, against everything Lincoln wanted. Grant. Ulysses S. Grant. About Ulysses S. Grant. If I don't know how to spell, I do know how to spell. Shut up. Yeah. It was for radical Republicans, Grant was too hesitant, too slow, and too inconsistent. He seemed indecisive at critical moments, such as when he refused to intervene in Mississippi during his presidency. Violence spread across the South, and white and black Republicans were attacked and killed. And he was drunk. Good things about him, though. He protected free slaves and when necessary was forced when the them terrorized the South, Grant ordered the Department of Justice and U.S. Army to destroy it. So that gets Grant above Jefferson. Woo! Rutherford. I truly think Rutherford B. Hayes is a underrated president because he goes above JQ. He oversaw the end of Reconstruction and things about Rutherford. Rutherford. I spelled that wrong. Oversaw the end of destruction, began efforts that led to civil service reform, and attempted to reconcile divisions after the war. So that he's pretty underrated president. B tier. Uh-oh. Here we have the next president that's not going to be rated because he died 6 months into his term. He was assassinated by Leon Chagotay. So he does not get rated. Although I do think he would have, if he had lived, he definitely would have been up here, if not up here. But actually not S tier. He would have just been A. But Chester A. Arthur. What did Chester A. Arthur do? All I know is that he's possibly Canadian. That went against the Constitution. Oh, yeah, the civil service reform. He did. Chester A. Arthur did what Garfield wanted to do, which was not able to put friends and family into like Congress or whatever, or not that like jobs to the government. I have no idea what it was. I remember watching a video on it and I forgot what it was. But he passed what Garfield wanted to do. He. Why do I click kids? Uh, oh, Arthur approved a measure of 1882 excluding paupers, criminals, and lunatics. Congress suspended Chinese immigration for 10 years. That's a big uh-oh there from you, Arthur. Yeah. Oh no, he vetoed it, but they. Oh, okay, never mind. Oh, that certain federal government jobs be distributed based on merit rather than political connections. Arthur, right there. Chester Grover Cleveland. I don't know why I forgot your name. Cleveland, you are gonna get what? He got served in New. He weakened the local power. Wait, wasn't he the president that annexed Hawaii? Or who overthrew Hawaii's queen? 1894. 1893. That would be during. Okay, wait. Was that under Benjamin Harrison? Oh, this was under his presidency. Yeah. Okay. Grover Cleveland. Good things. During his 2 terms, single-handedly restored and strengthened the power of the autonomy of the executive branch. Sure, what did you do on your 2nd term? Who does Grover have crush on? What? The president used the veto the most. Progenderous Grover? From the Muppet? No. He dealt Cleveland. He. Well, I'm gonna find something. Hold. Okay, after reading through the White House page, I have determined bottom of C tier. The not passing the pensions for Civil War veterans and the railroad thing, not a good look for you, Grover. As for you, you annexed Hawaii without their consent. Well, so did like Polk with Texas or whatever. Where did I put Polk? See here? Harrison, I'm putting you C tier for now until I investigate what you have done here. Okay. Harrison deserves to be bottom of C tier after what I have read. He did try. He worked with the Republicans to help get a tariff bill passed, but they didn't like him even though he was cooperating with them. But he just wanted like different tariff rates and so on and so forth. So bottom of C tier you belong. Actually, you know who belongs in bottom of C tier? William McKinley. The unjust war with the Philippines. And actually, speaking of unjust war with the Philippines, B tier, bottom of B tier. Yeah, Teddy and McKinley. Teddy, he pressured McKinley to go war with the Filipinos. That was a brutal war, by the way. If you guys want to learn more about the Philippine American War, go to Mr. Beat's channel. He has a good 20-minute video explaining the bare bones to it. There's much more to what he described, but that's the main thing. But but Teddy pressured McKinley to do it, but McKinley uh he sent during the Spanish American War or before the okay, I'm turning into this guy now. Okay, let me gather my thoughts for a second. Okay, McKinley, to start the Spanish American War, he made a lie that Spain sunk the USS Maine, even though there was no proof they did. But they believed McKinley, and boom, straight to war with Spain. Lies. But McKinley raised tariffs, and yeah, and for the Philippine American War. And for the Philippine American War, I recommend you watch this video. This is the account I normally post this on, so you won't see, but this is the video I recommend you watch. I'll also leave it in the description down below. Okay. And Teddy, he did pretty good, but him pressuring McKinley to go to war with Philippines, not a good look. William H. Taft, first president to visit Mexico, so top of FD. What did Taft do? He has progressives, alienated many liberal Republicans. Roosevelt made him Secretary of War. Were pleased with Taft's election. Roosevelt cut off Fay. Taft recognized that his techniques differ from his like. Also, speaking of Teddy, he also what? Hold on. He also uh helped conservate many public land and helped manage the Panama Canal. So that's why he gets bottom of beat here. Did president? I'm gonna go find something. Okay, so the Mankins elected Elections Act regulated railroads and set rates, alienated progressives, and that. But he has been regarded recently with greater respect in light of growing potential for abuse of presidential power. So he has gotten great respect, but he was ineffective, which is honestly, yeah, I'd agree. His one thing he did is he did pursue his after he did pursue his dream of becoming the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. So, woo. Woo. Next, Wilson. Next, Harding. I want to put you down. There we go. Harding, his administration was corrupt, and he knew about some of the things he did, but he didn't care. He also gambled off some China during some China Tupper plate thing. He gambled some non-priceable things. You know what I'm trying to say, right? Wilson, he was incredibly racist. He was incredibly sexist. He wanted to limit the First Amendment. He promised to keep the country out of World War One, but as soon as he got reelected for a second term, he got the country in World War One, and so many things. But uh, he did do some good things, like the 14 points and the 14 points. The League of Nations, that was also a good thing he did, which disassembled in the 40s and turned into the United Nations. But, oh gosh, no. Calvin Coolidge. I put Coolidge below Adams. Coolidge just. It's not often that for presidential tier lists, I've never made one, but for presidential tier lists, um, he. It's very rare for me to judge a president by things they did as governor or mayor or so and so senator, congressman. But when he was governor of Mississippi, I think he was governor of Mississippi. I don't know, governor or something. Hold on. Oh, ow. Hey Siri, what was Calvin Coolidge governor of? Anyways,
Here's what I found from History.com. In 1918, Coolidge was elected governor of Massachusetts.
Okay, Massachusetts. The Boston. Actually, I should have thought of that because Boston. No. Anyways, the Boston police uh riot thing, strike. Yeah, a strike. That's the word. Happened, and it was only prolonged because of him, because he didn't want to come to an agreement with them. But his presidency, Silent Cal, he uh he paid off some of the debt. He reduced the debt as well, and he was just overall pretty effective. Herbert Hoover, just above Tyler, D tier. He gets blamed for the Great Depression, and while I do generally think he was major contributor to the Great Depression, it wasn't entirely his fault. It also came some of the fault came from Coolidge and Harding for some of their economic policies. But he really did try to help with the Depression. Not really effective, but sorry for the noise. Um, he was a great guy. After he left the office in 1933, he helped. He set up soup shops to help with the people who didn't have food. So while we tend to generalize Herbert Hoover caused the Great Depression, nothing else, that's not really what history says. Franklin D. Roosevelt. This might be a hot take, but B tier. Hot take. People put him in S tier. Some people put him in A tier. And if your name is specifically Ben Shapiro, you put him in F tier. But he belongs in none of those places. Especially you, Ben Shapiro. He belonged B tier. B tier is a good place to put him. He The Japanese internment camps, not good. His great deals, new deals, just prolonged the depression. He did not. Uh, his administration failed to admit Holocaust survivors into the United States, which was also no. But he did help lead the country during war, and he actively tried, also trying new deals for new things like borrowing money from other countries. So Franklin D. Roosevelt, not S tier, not A tier, not F tier, Ben Shapiro, and yeah, B tier. His successor, Harry S. Truman, whose full name is Harry S. Truman. The S stands for nothing. Actually, it stands for no. I'm not gonna get sidetracked. Putting him up top of B tier. True man, the truest man of them all. No, he's not. Harry Truman. He effectively stopped. He just had to make a tough decision in dropping both of the atomic bombs in Japan on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And while many people at first thought, like, you're just killing innocent people, in the long run, if we hadn't dropped those bombs, there would have been more people that have died than if they did drop the atomic bombs. So that was overall the best thing he could have done. The Truman Doctrine, which effectively stopped to fight communism. That was good too. The Marshall Plan to help Europe after World War II. And we can't forget about this famous picture. This famous picture of Truman, where no, where the Chicago Tribune. I read up there and I thought it said Trubine. Called that Thomas Dewey was going to defeat Truman in the 1948 elections because he was super unpopular. But that was probably one of the biggest upsets, if not the biggest upset in presidential election history, because they called it so wrong. It was just they printed it like long before it happened. A lot of people call this the original troll face. That's why you don't print newspapers until the results officially come out. Dwight D. Eisenhower. I'm sorry, Lincoln. Eisenhower's just above you. You may have freed the slaves, but Eisenhower helped us. The reason we're not currently speaking German and hailing funny Austrian German mustache guy from the 30s and 40s, large part because of Eisenhower. Eisenhower just he was the supreme Allied commander of the Allies during World War II, and was the planner and leader of the invasion of Normsway, Nordsday, whatever it's called, also known as D-Day. And during his presidency, he also accomplished many things. The highway system, the system we have between states, all him. Um, the what was it called? He also supported human rights, civil rights, because you guys remember the Little Rock Nine, where 9 black girls I think went to a previously segregated school or a white only school, but due to violence they sent like troops, like people from the army. Eisenhower did that, but there's no good without the bad, and no bad without the good. He and the CIA toppled many democratically elected officials from other countries just because they didn't like him, just because they didn't want to help the U.S. But that's really all I think. All bad he did, I think. So I think he might be our final S tier of the entire rank. Looking down there, I think he is our last S tier. John Fitzgerald Kennedy. In my opinion, I think he's the best president in American history, but he's definitely not S tier worthy. Bottom of A tier. Every other president that goes in A tier, this is gonna go above him. There's no the Peace Corps. Sure, the Bay of Pigs was shaky, and a lot of people argue that if Nixon won 1960, there would have been no Cuban Missile Crisis. Yeah, but two problems with that. If Nixon would have won the Bay of Pigs, the Cubans really loved Fidel Castro as their leader, and I don't think they would be too pleased with having Americans run their entire system. And two, even if they were somehow happy about that, I don't think the Soviets would be too happy that you took away their trade partner. So the Cold War would have turned into World War III, essentially. So yeah, Peace Corps, Cuban Missile Crisis, his him wanting to advance civil rights legislation, albeit he probably it would have been done later because he didn't have the movement in Congress to do it. constantly tried. And those fire speeches, the moon speech, we chose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. And not just like saying that, but actively putting the country's resources behind that and making sure we win the space race. Like, yeah, we need another president that says things and actively tries to do them. And may I just add, before I say that, we're gonna rank Lyndon B. Johnson because he is also involved with this. He gets top of the D tier. Lyndon B. Johnson. A lot of people just criticize him for the Vietnam War and say that's all the bad he did. No, he was just creepy. He would pull. Okay, no, I'm gonna start with the Kennedy and LBJ fact I was gonna say before I started saying that. Uh, JFK, John F. Kennedy, and who was the leader of the USSR during that time? Kennedy and Nikita Khrushchev, who was the leader of the USSR during that time, actually formed a plan to get to the moon together. But after Kennedy's assassination, uh, uh, Nikita Khrushchev, I don't know why I thought he was Mikhail, pulled out of that because they didn't trust Johnson too much. As for Johnson, the Vietnam War definitely stained his legacy. Though he did sign Medicare, Medicaid, and like a full out war on poverty, he was like a total creep. He pulled his penis that he nicknamed Jumbo out. He would often have meetings with his high officials, his security officers, talking about the nation's security while taking a huge Taco Bell like dump. There was also a reported story that his security officer, his highest security officer, slipped and fell on him during one of those sessions. And it was just, and he would just like to get a bill passed, he would intimidate you, which I that's not a reason I'm putting them down there, but that's just like a cool fact. But like he just no. He also had a phone installed in the bathroom so he could like talk with people. He also like JFK before him and Harding before him and FDR before him had extramarital affairs, and like Bill Clinton after him and HW, he had extramarital affairs, and yeah. Richard Nixon, you get below Harding. Nixon, Watergate scandal, Pentagon Papers. I just realized Nixon and Harding are the only two Republican presidents here. The rest are Democrats. Okay. But Nixon, the Watergate scandal, the Pentagon Papers, trying to cover it up and say, I'm not a crook. You know, a fun fact, did you know that where he famously stated that he wasn't a crook? That happened in Disney World. That's the one in Florida, right? Or is that Disneyland? Whatever the Disney park is down in Florida, that's where that speech happened. But he was also like not a nice guy in general. He wouldn't treat his staff nicely at all. He just wasn't. No, F tier. Gerald Ford. Ford. I don't know. I'm putting you in. I'm gonna. put you in C tier until I figure out what you have done. Hold on. Okay. Ford goes behind Teddy. And actually, Arthur goes behind Teddy as well. He saw a time of economic prosperity, and I think by the end of his term, it was actually starting to go downhill. The economic policy was starting to go downhill. But his economic policies caught inflation by half, and 4 million people found jobs. You go bottom of B tier. James Earl Carter Jr. I love you, buddy, but you go above Hoover. I find a lot of people. Jimmy Carter deregulated. What? I know he deregulated a couple things, but but Ronald Reagan takes credit for them. Hold on. He deregulated the airline industry so there could be more competition, And he also met with future President Bill Clinton right there. I think he also met with Joe Biden sometime. Hold on, let me see if I can find that picture. Yeah, this picture. He met with Jimmy Carter. But the Iranian hostage crisis, which a lot of people also say Reagan helped it. No, at the final couple days of Jimmy Carter's presidency, before the inauguration of Reagan, he got the deal with the Iranians to free the why am I clapping? To free the American hostages from Iran. But Reagan gets the credit with that because they got released within the first 56 hours of his presidency. Woo! Yeah, Reagan! No, that was Carter's doing. But I do agree. He was way too nice. He never deserved to be in office anyways. Ronnie Reagan. Another hot another this might be a hot topic. Hot hot take. But I personally put Reagan B tier. A lot of people would put him A tier. No. Reaganomics, trickle down economics, it just made the rich richer and the poor poorer. Because there was, see, if there came a law along with that for the rich to pay their employers more, maybe I would have rated them higher. But no, that's not how it worked. It just made the rich richer. And the Iran Contra affair, I get he was trying to fight communism, but you should have just tried to convince Congress instead of, you know, illegally selling guns to Iran and buying cocaine from the Contras to support their uh their their mission. I'm gonna start going through this faster because I only got 7 minutes left. George H.W. Personally think he's better than Reagan. I'll put him between there. His he's saying not he's not gonna raise taxes even though he did. Not a good look, but he did pursue the Gulf War because the U.S. gotta get that oil, bro. Gotta get that oil, and I think he was honestly pretty good on. He also tried to help the environment and signed the law that requires businesses to have that wheelchair ramp that for for disabled people. So B tier. Clinton, top of C tier. The FMLA really worked. NAFTA, he had a pretty good time during his the economy during his time blossomed. Actually, you know what? I think for that I'm putting you above Ford. The Monica Lewinsky scandal, Watergate, Travelgate, Zippergate. Yeah, but you did do some good things. Like I said, he had good economic policy. He also signed this law, the Family and Medical Leave Act of 1993, which required large employers to allow them to take unpaid leave for pregnancy and serious medical condition. So, yeah, he he did do things. W. I'm sorry. I don't like you. See, 9/11, the thing that shaped his presidency, he had some good intentions, but it didn't happen the way he wanted them to happen. He like striked Iraq. He attacked Iraq without even knowing if Bin Laden was there. The recession of 2008, his fault. The war on terror, yeah, that's understandable. The war of in Afghanistan got stopped a couple like last year, I think. Dragged on for 20 years. W had a good personality. Bushisms, those were funny, but meh. Obama, C tier. No, not B tier. Just above McKinley. See, I can see why a lot of people don't like him, but he doesn't get enough credit for the killing of Osama bin Laden. He doesn't get enough credit for that, honestly. The another thing I forgot to mention about Bush was the No Child Left Behind Act. It left many children behind because great idea. Let's make the schools that do good on testing better funding, but the schools that do bad on test get less funding. Great idea. Obama fixed some things with that. I'm actually gonna put you above Polk actually. But there are other problems arose with his him trying to fix that. The Affordable Care Act, that was a nice attempt, but didn't work. It was no. And honestly, I don't think we should be ranking the last three presidents, Obama, Trump, and Biden, because it normally takes like a decade or two, maybe three, to actually see the effects of their legacy, of their presidency. But we're still gonna be ranking them anyways, just for why not? Trumpy Wumpy, above Hoover. You did some good things. I personally don't like you, but I do agree that you did some good things, like the First Step Act, the criminal justice reform, that was nice. The the economy during your time blossomed up until COVID. But yeah, the economy blossomed. Being racist though, that's nah, I don't like that. And the Stormy Daniels affair, nah. But First Step Act, trying to do things, but the Space Force, yeah, that was. I don't know why we need that, but yeah. And finally, last but not least, Joseph Robinette Biden. I'll put you just below Trump. You ended the war in Afghanistan, which is good, and you tried the Anti-Recession Act or whatever it was called, and Inflation Act, whatever. You tried, but didn't work. I don't. What other things have you done in office? Because I'm gonna be honest, I don't know half the things Biden did in office. Okay, he approved a drone strike that killed the second leader of Al Qaeda. He nominated Kentucky Jackson Brown and something about infrastructure. He did something about infrastructure somewhere here. Maybe, possibly. Where's infrastructure? There's infrastructure. Boris Johnson. Build Back Better agenda. Economy, the GDP cool down dramatically. Yeah, I think he does belong there. Solid D tier. Honestly, still don't think we should be rating Trump, Biden, Obama, maybe even Bush Jr., but, you know. Okay, so this is my final tier list. Do you guys agree, disagree, move people around? What do you guys think? And I hope you enjoyed this tier list. Maybe I'll make more tier lists in the future about different things. And I'll see you guys in whatever I shall do next. Goodbye.